His book is available to purchase on the back table after the reading, and I'm sure he'd be happy to sign it for you. Our second reader tonight is Rebecca Liu. She is the recipient of fellowships from the Michener Center for Writers and the Stadler Center for Poetry. Her recent poems can be found in Boston Review, Volt, Web Conjunctions, The All, Phantom Limb, and Gulf Coast.
Hi everyone, thanks to Malvern for hosting, and thanks to Mike for inviting me to read, and congrats on your book. I'm going to read two poems. The first one is called Mutter Tongue, which is probably the title poem of a manuscript that I'm working on, but I've never read it out loud. So, Mutter Tongue. What desire I know, other than another's, more conducting than my own, through the palace where mirrors refract through water, through the hall of perfect brightness, no longer do I move as form, staging the silhouette of a subject. Family and home is the same, set with a pair of wings seemingly, as in dictation, a sort of border relic, board of wings. I want to inhabit my viewer's eye, reverse rubric, twice moving the blue light to descend the blue stare. A silhouette offers the illusion of depth for red poppy waves, robed with hats, this series of anonymous locks. The rigor of the link is an artifact. We of goldly layered metaphor measures distance by body to border, catapult or battle axe, poisonous arrowheads. When I stepped out of the airport, hot air like wide swaths of relief pinned my dress to my body. Continued projection to the parting wall, brick by brick, reassembled at another end. We arrive at pre-existing ends each time the word is written, the character for gate or door closed with a hook. In hindsight, some resistance rehearses the tongue. As if borderless in a palace, I often approach to mimic what is seen, wherein at the window dreaming, one speech for another, like building temples on the sites of pre-existing temples, some links, bricks sprouting green vines, privy to erosion, could cloud or outpace apprehension. This next poem is longer. It's called Patter of Feelings, which is a quote from a C.S. Peirce letter, which I thought was really great. So I stole it. And it has a pretty ridiculous epigraph, which is, what has happened as it happened, which is from a Kierkegaard text. Patter of Feelings. Of I lived, only that none was to say behind, a little sliver, a long time ago, lest the length of this for tune facted the day, once thought, once glossy, one has to, but violent, whose speed incorporates the wild blaze that out of two dimensions, whichever bushy dissipates, its hardly foam, half then, consumes at intervals. I have in meantime that she, foreshortened, a moving irritation not long ago, but not expected to damper, delicate, to carry glance, no sooner, my friend, has as its mossy, sooner qualities, will have only, if been coming, thickness in the sunken, to the meanwhiles, before the endless, petted itch, those may be looked at, velvet hardly, on the leg inclined, who thought, who were not long after, moving in next door, assembled in whichever wait here, state through depth, I don't know, it just happens, flower beds, they want to know, the permanence of the past, and like a pony throughout what should have been felt, not long after, the bumps ongoing, carpeted, little, bungled clarity, yet no sooner than to bury the pickling, repeat in one sitting, like something like a chess, my missing one, because, literally, legs up, my present, a life from spluttering over which we will, do you, in which way incomparable, the thistle would rehearse, smell, it can be negated, too, to follow these measures until months from now, only if, during a plain, having spent some time to the futures retrievable, yet the futures are a duration, intending previous to the marks, can only, I can't speak, further today, the drip in the sink toward endless, no way only authorized for sure, wedded, heaped, nothing to be laughed in this, thwarts of luxurious intimations, I urge you, goodly blinks, the ongoing interlock, dispersals, swing stitch, there is, do you recall the endless last, I thought, to defense, probity, lapsed, smudges, late ligament exceeds, since hinged cannot, not on the bank account so much at some future we flap, embed, and litigate, only nothing appeared, nothing is me, whichever us also it happens to already thought unbent, sometimes undoing, all I need was to sun, face to face over nothing, a bitter when what one remarks sonorous in retrospect says better as soon as unfelt, asleep of my right hand sliding on the bookshelf, for how else to pass the time when my body knows downward while out drooped, doesn't keep the mark, and further marking I had no sooner been. Thanks.